Hey guys, so I'm going to make 5 videos about the main reasons why I think that your manifestation is appearing to fail or is not showing up in a timely fashion, or maybe isn't showing up the way you want it to. This is based on my experience over the last 25 years, and especially the intense scrutiny and awareness and observation that I have been placing on everything that's happened since I had sort of a mini spiritual awakening at the end of 2019, after I had made some major, I think, sort of final foundational changes to my own self-concept, the way I viewed myself. I had worked through a few problems and come to a point where finally I think my vision, my lens was twisted just right so that I could see clearly most everything that had to do with me. So that's where this comes from. This isn't, taken from some other source or gleaned from watching other YouTube channels. This is purely my observation and my own personal experience. So hopefully you can use this to analyze your own situation and figure out what's going wrong with it so that you can address it. So the topic of this video is what I think is a very common and very big reason, maybe the number one reason for why you aren't getting the thing that you're trying to get. And that is that you don't really want it. I don't mean that your desire isn't big enough for it or any of that. I mean that it's appearing to be something that you really, really want when actually it's just an illusion. It's masking something else. It's masking something that you don't want to address about yourself. It's masking, something that you need to figure out, that once you have figured that out, the need for that thing will be mostly, if not completely, released and just gone forever. Maybe you'll still want that thing, but then it takes on, the level of importance of any other thing that you want to get. So, the real question of the day is, how do you figure out if that's what it is for you? And that I think you just have to sit with and sort of think about and see how you feel about it. Think about whether or not this thing that you can't seem to get to happen is actually something that on some level, you don't actually want to be a part of your life. You can strongly want to find a partner with whom to have children. And that can be like a focal point of your existence and something that you feel like, oh my God, if I don't get that, I am just a worthless person. Life is meaningless, or like a career goal. If I don't reach this goal, like all of my peers did, or, if I don't get to this thing, I just can't seem to get it. I think I'm good enough, but I just can't get it. You really have to stop and be honest with yourself. Being honest with yourself is not easy to do. It gets easier the more you do it. But, if you're at a point where you haven't spent a lot of time, really just getting real about yourself and what you're doing and what you're, the direction that you're heading in life and all of that, this can be really transformative to sit and just think, is this really something I want? Just because every one of my family members or my peers has done this thing or achieved this goal, is it really something that I want? Like, is it really a true, deep inner desire? Because I think that for a lot of people, especially in this day and age, there's more and more of a drive to be true to yourself. There's more and more of, it's becoming more and more accepted that you carve out your own path. And just more and more as years go on, this becomes, it's kind of nice to watch how the next generation is being more and more encouraged to just be who they are. And so if you're like my age, 40 or older, or around this age especially, that was not quite there yet when we were being brought up. And I think that, for a lot of people, you still have to kind of do that for yourself. You still have to kind of say, is this really the path that I want to go down? Is this thing that I think I really need? Is it masking some other thing? Like, I don't want to admit to myself that I actually want to take this other path. So more and more, this fire builds under this thing I think I need to achieve. It's almost like the more you don't get it, there becomes this bigger polarization. And then eventually, and I'm speaking from experience here with the relationship stuff, eventually when you realize that you don't actually need that thing, all of this energy dissipates and there's this peace in its place. And you realize, oh, okay, I do still want that, but I just realize now it's not going to define my life. It's not going to define my self-worth. You know, I have to do that stuff for myself. And now I can get this thing because it's a different thing now. It's not this thing with everything riding on it. It's this smaller, totally attainable thing. Why wouldn't I have this thing? If I don't get it, who cares? You know, it comes down to that level. Or you realize you don't even really want it at all. I think that's the really surprising thing about a lot of these desires, is that when you get real about why you don't have it, why it hasn't shown up, a lot of the time you realize, wow, this isn't even something I really want. And I think this is especially true in the specific person category. So if that's where you're coming at this from, you can really save yourself a lot of time, heartache, and energy if you get real with yourself about why you're trying to get that thing. But anyway, that's another topic for another video. So that's the first reason why I think manifestations take forever to show up or don't show up at all yet, you know, is because there's a mental thing there where you're just like, your 3D avatar is like, I want this thing, I want this thing. And then your higher self that you can access, you know, you can feel that thing. That thing's saying, no way, you don't really want that. No. You can strive and struggle and toil to get it all you want, but you're not having that because it's not what you really want. It's not where going to get you really where you're really trying to go. That's been my experience. So I hope that helps somebody, and the next 4 parts are coming up next.